Welcome everybody to Panfish Nation. Along with Mark, I'm Lyle, and Mark, confidence is the name of the game.
It is. It'll pull you out of a rut, if anything.
You either believe in what you're doing, or you should, whichever the case may be. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit.
I agree. Went fishing yesterday, and I'll tell you what. I asked myself, what would you use if you weren't going to eat if you didn't catch any fish? There's this saying, fish hungry, which I like to do once in a while. So I don't eat much when I'm fishing. Anybody that's fishing with me, even Jerry Hohausen is like, aren't you going to have something to eat? I said, I don't eat when I'm fishing. Got to fish hungry. And sometimes once I get on a fish or something, then I'll crack open like some trail mix or whatever. That's just the way it's always been with me. I don't know. I get too wrapped up in the process. Sometimes it motivates you a little more to fish a little harder. And yesterday we caught a bunch of fish, but it wasn't easy finding them. So I like to think that kind of helped. So
Well, this weather is going to have a little bit to do with it. It's transitioning right now. We had a big cold front move through and rained most of the day today, and it stopped for this afternoon, and it's going to start here again a little bit. It's going to rain all night. So normally for me, 2 days after the front moves through before the fish start biting again. So I'm looking at roughly Saturday or Sunday before they start going good. Uh, and I'm ready because we're going to have only one more day of rain in the next 10-day forecast, and fall weather is here, Mark.
it is. We got highs in the 50s in the next week or so after today.
And we're in the 70s, but yeah.
Well, that's the 70s is Missouri 50s because you live in Hades, Missouri. We've talked about that many times. That's about equal. I need 10 degrees to come off that water. Water was 68 degrees still yesterday. When it gets closer to 60 degrees is when them crappie will move out of the deeper water, out of the basins. I was finding them yesterday in like 21 feet of water. Not just them. I was finding the yellow bass, the white bass, the crappie. I was even finding drum. I caught a dandy. That one I posted on my Facebook thing. It doesn't look it, but
you eat it?
No, I didn't eat. I don't eat that garbage.
Yes.
We'll leave that for the people who have not non-concerning taste, but tastes. Put it back. Oh. We did keep 4 crappie. We kept the I think it was like 4 white bass or something. My buddy who came with me fishing, he took them home. I just had some fish that I brought home from Betty and Brandon's. We went out there, got to fish with Betty. Brandon was sick on over the whole week. Fortunately, it wasn't COVID. I think it was just stress. Not stress, but strep. So he didn't fish. So me and Betty were out there fishing. We had a real good time. Chad made it out there. He fished for some time, but he had some trolling motor issues, operator error. So he didn't fish on Saturday much. Yeah, well, I forgot that. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And don't ask him for any battery advice. Hopefully he's listening.
Well, guess what, Mark?
What's up?
Last week we forgot to give away the jigs, so these bad boys will be giveaway tonight.
Look at those. Here, let me give you a solo screen so we can show them to everybody because those look pretty nice. There you go.
Okay. These are ones that we tied up. These are ones I've been using throughout the summer. Now the ones that look kind of funky are green because we're using a green screen. They don't show up real good, but these have been pretty good for me. There's some small ones, some tight ones, real active in the water stuff that's been catching bluegill and stuff for me all this late part of the summer. So they should work great into the winter. This box holds 20. Of course, there's 4, 5, 6 extras in there. So somebody be happy about that. Goes to one of our members.
And guys, if you want to win this, you got to be a member in order to get entered. And you could do that through links on the main page or links in the description if Lyle added it in there. You guys know how to become members. So
that's right.
For members as well. It's not too early. I got the list of members on the wheel of Greenwell, but this is to
green wheel.
The green wheel. It's not too early. If we see a membership come in during the show, we'll add you to the list, and we appreciate
Absolutely.
That being said, membership milestones. There's me. I was a member for 6 months.
Thank you so much.
You're very, I did that just to test stuff, and I don't have the heart to take that away from you, Lyle, because I believe in what you're doing, or else I wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Fish and Freedom, what's up, Richard? He's been a member for 9 months, and Joe Buck, 66, been a member for 10 months. Thank you very much. Absolutely. We appreciate you very much. So,
absolutely. And people are still coming in. We're gonna take off here in a little bit, and there'll be a few more in here. Josh, the Weekend Angler, had a really good short tip Saturday this week. If you guys get a chance, run over and check it out. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I did, and there's several other people, I can't remember them all now, that had really good videos this week. So be sure to check out the recorded stuff, because these guys put a lot of time in making them, coming up with ideas, editing them, and making them where they're good entertainment to watch. So be sure to check those out.
Well, that being said, Lyle, it's a struggle. And I think this is a good segue to Catfish Weekly, 500 episodes on Monday. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to come up with concepts and show ideas and put things together. And let me be the first to congratulate you. Well, I don't know. I'm sure you've gotten congratulated already. 500 shows on 500 episodes of Catfish Weekly. I know what the struggle is. So way to go. I look forward to the show on Monday.
Well, thank you. 500 Monday night shows and a total of 643, I believe it is, total shows that we've done. And some of them was remotes to different tournaments and stuff, or, and catfish conference things where we do 6 or 8 a day for an hour at a time, and 45 minutes at a time. Some of them, it just depend on what was going on and who the guest was and different things. And then we go to tournaments and do live broadcasts from tournaments all over the place. So it's been a lot of fun, and 500 Monday night shows. Pardon me. Like you say, to come up with the content for that, and lots and lots of different people that we interviewed through the years, and different content. The number one thing has always been with Catfish Weekly to educate people so they can catch more fish. That's kind of like you and I try to do here, although we do get off on the food tangent once in a while. But, that's just part of it.
Who, us? Never.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. But, it is it's a big deal. So we're going to have some giveaways on Monday night and different things. So if you have got to get a chance, jump on in there, tune in. I think you'll like what we got planned.
Look forward to it. And my show will be on afterwards. I am back, folks. Had some naysayers, but I'm back, Lyle. I'm back.
There you go.
Hey, back real quick on let's touch base on the whole food topic. Fishing came to be out of a necessity to get food.
That's right.
They go hand in hand. It's in our DNA. No wonder we talk about each of the two topics in the show. So it's just the way it is. Anybody who doesn't like that doesn't realize that, and they just don't like the taste of fish, I'm guessing.
And if they don't figure out that I didn't get looking like I did by not eating, there's an issue there.
We're both full-figured anglers.
That's right. What do you say? Welcome some people in the chat.
I'd love to. There's 922 Crappie Barbecue. What's up, my friend? Avid fisherman, how you doing? Dale Hayslip in the house. What's up, Dale? Danny Stone Outdoors. What's up, Danny? Danny just nominated Coda for a Golden Whiskers Award. I saw that on Facebook. Way to go, Coda, I should say. There's Freddie at FOA Customs and Gear. I got some planer boards coming from Freddie. I got a cowboy hat, but I look ridiculous in it. Lyle, don't expect ever to see me wear it outside.
Oh, come on.
Outside that one picture on Facebook, that's it. You got to look at me at that. Go look at it then. All right, just fishing with Jeff Beal. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing? Greg Burgess. How you doing, Greg? Hopefully I'm saying that name right. There's Lance McCouguy. Hopefully Lance is getting out there and fishing, and Audra's doing well. There's Quiet Man Curtis. Quiet Man Curtis is the new co-host on Hog Leg Catfishing Show. Tim Molina in the house. What's up, Tim? How you doing, player? Twisted Fishing TV. What's going on, Frank? How you doing, sir? And Want to Be Outdoors. Matt, what's going on? I saw Cindy in there too. We'll give her a shout out, definitely. I saw Chad in chat too. What's up, Chad? There's Avid. How you doing, Avid? Let's see if I missed anybody else. There's Chad. I told you I saw him.
There's Frank.
I think I caught Frank, so
that should probably about get it. Skinny dude be up here on the ice looking like frozen death.
Well, you know, winter's coming, Lyle. You need that insulation. So eat up, people.
Hey, that makes sense to me. Speaking of that, I had 2 homemade fillet of fish tonight for dinner. They was awesome.
You know what reminds me of this show? Bacon wrapped shrimp, Lyle. That's you and me.
That's right. Oh man, I've never had bacon wrapped shrimp, but it sounds amazing.
It is pretty darn good, I must say. It's actually pretty good. Oh, there's Pontoon Jody. Jody, you were being quiet. You weren't showing up on the people list. How you doing, Jody?
Audrey is doing better. We took the dogs for a walk last night. Audrey was able to walk the whole block. Congratulations, man. That's quite a feat. Good deal.
That's pretty fantastic. That's great news. I've been adding you guys both to my prayers line. So hopefully you'll have a continued improvement in her health. So
absolutely. That's great to hear. Get back to what we was talking about earlier, Mark. There's a few things for me that build confidence. And if you're confident in what you're doing, you'll catch more fish. I'm a firm believer in that. One thing is what you're using for bait, whether it be live bait, hand ties, plastics, Gulp Alive. And I think we need to have a show about that before long, because I know you get along really well with it, and I catch very little on it. What I'm most confident in is hand ties, and then live bait, and then plastics. Now, it's not that I don't catch stuff on the Gulp, but the other stuff seems to be more effective. And whether that's the water I'm fishing or the way I fish it, I don't know. But hand ties seem to be doing really well. Now, as we're moving into cooler weather, I have a feeling that's going to change and go back to the live bait. And everybody, I keep hearing red worms. Night crawlers is what works for me. Little pieces of night crawlers on a Aberdeen hook underneath a bobber, and you can just lay them out in the fall of the year. Why is that? Why is it that much difference between here? My friend Dieter, man, him and I've argued about red worms and night crawlers, but it's just like the Gulp stuff. I can do better with other things. And it's not that I don't catch fish on them; they just don't work as good for me. So where's your confidence going to be? It's going to be in what you catch fish on.
Me, if I got my choice between red worms and night crawlers, I'm always picking the red worms. It's just what works for me. I got my thinking and my reasoning behind it, but that doesn't really matter. It's what I think is going to work better, especially when I'm on a bait run. I don't use live bait too much except for that time when I'm on a bait run and I need to produce, fish in a hurry in guaranteed spots, not just with confidence in that live bait, but confidence in the spots that I pick as well.
Right.
There's different reasons. There's reasons why I fish places for a challenge, and there's reasons why I fish places for bait for the most part. So,
well, and I forgot something else too, along when I was going on there, is fly fishing. I've been doing a lot of that, and I've caught a lot of fish this summer, fly fishing. But I'll catch a lot more off of hand-tied jigs than I will flies. And I haven't pinpointed that out. And I've been using topwater flies, trailing anywhere from 12 to 18 inches behind there with a semi-sinking fly, a real small, teeny tiny, tied on a 16 or a 14 size hook. and they're just not getting it done. They want the stuff on the top of the water. They don't want stuff down in the water column. And why is that? I have no clue. Because you would think them little bitty ones would be fire down there where the fish are actually at, but they're coming up to the top to get whatever's up there. And yellow and green seem to make the biggest difference in color. It doesn't matter how stained the water is. They want yellow and green. You can put black or purple or anything else on there. Now, as time changes, we get into colder weather. I know that's going to change too. But I go through a series every time I go out there of different colors to find out what works the best. And for the last month, it's been yellow or green. So
that's interesting. You know, going back to yesterday, this is having to do with this same topic here. This is what I encountered yesterday. I go out there, I'm throwing my confidence one at the brush piles. I know how much you love live scope, but I was ripping. I was sending them sonar signals down there, finding me a couple of brush piles with fish on them, and I can see what the fish are doing. That's the only reason why I bring it up. And I go right away to my monkey milk, which is pretty much my confidence crappie plastic for the most part. Get one down there, catch one fish, go down there. The rest of them barely paid any attention. Nothing. Well, now it's time to start exploring. But I did start with that monkey milk, and I've filled limits with that one color, so I'm confident with it. I end up going from my confidence colors to not so confidence colors, and I kind of work my way back through my regiment. You know, I went from that monkey milk to a solid white. From a solid white, I'm thinking, well, water's clear, and they're not biting the hard to see colors. I'm going to go gaudy. I'm using something called Vegas Disco, which is a gold, as sparkly as you can get plastic. I put down there. I catch one fish, pull that sucker up, a good one, by the way. That sucker was 12 inches. That was a nice one. Get that sucker in the boat, drop it back down there, not even another look from another fish. So I got to go through a bunch of colors. So the crappie we did catch, I kid you not, I don't think I caught more than 2 on any one bait, but I did start with that monkey milk, and that told me that they were at least feeding. Now back to what you were saying about the why they're not taking the small little tiny flies that you're sinking below, and they're going for the ones on the top. What comes to mind is the saying, match the hatch. Whatever they've been eating, maybe they weren't offered anything subsurface for the last few days, week, or whatever. They got used to eating above. That could be exactly why it's there, where, you know, a couple weeks difference, they're feeding below the surface, and that's when those things are going to work best for you. So
yeah, Frank says
that would be my guess.
What's that?
That would be my guess as to why they're doing that.
Yeah, Frank says put a bigger bait on the bottom, and I tried that with no avail. And here's you was talking about monkey milk, and I know that's a great bait to catch crappie on. I never caught a bluegill on one, never. And I would think that they would like them. I've even got the 1-inch ones, Mark. I mean,
I got the
itty bitty
ones too.
It doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to matter. The bluegill, and now where I've been fishing is really clear water, and maybe that has something to do with it. But I this fall we're going to get into some crappie, and I'll be trying it for sure. But right now, what I'm doing is catching bluegill for bait for catfishing trips, and I got to put them in the boat so I have bait, because this is the time of the year for me when I go out and I'm going after bait for catfishing trips. And if I don't get into the shad, which normally you do, but if you don't, you got to have a backup plan, and that's bluegill for me. So that's why what I do with the bluegill that I catch, unless they're big enough to eat, And then we're back to what we was talking about a while ago.
About food. Yeah. Bluegill's got its definite place. Over here, it's not the hot bait this time of year. At least for me, it's not. Shad is, but it's hard to pull shad behind some boards, especially the size I use. They're smaller ones. They come off the hook. Unless you're retying, reeling your line in and rebaiting nonstop, it's kind of effortless. So if I planned, and not that I do in the fall so much, if I plan to pull boards this time of year, I definitely would have to use some bluegill because they're just, the skins are tougher. They stay on the hook a little longer.
Yeah. Now, if you get 4 to 8 inch shad, you can cut them up and they stay on pretty good because the bone structure in the bodies are a lot better. But right now, my lakes are full of them little 3-inch.
Yeah, here's the little ones. I got lucky, like for the couples tournament, I had like an 11 or a 12 inch. It filled up the bottom of a bucket. What's that? 12 inches.
Yeah,
I caught one that size, which was good. I sliced the back, right above the black backbone, that whole back strap off of them, sliced it into like little 50-cent pieces. And because we were fishing for channel cats, and that worked good. If I could get a constant supply of a shad at that size, I wouldn't hesitate to drag those behind some boards. So
that's right.
Cindy's correcting you, Lyle.
As usual.
Well, she ain't wrong. Did I say that out loud?
And she, last time we went out, I was using a fly rod, and I didn't have any success with fly rod at all. And by the time I got my jigging rod out to catch them, she had already got 20 some in a bucket. So she was on fire, man. But them things were they couldn't wait for her to drop a bait in there, and it was really working out. And the main reason I went was to throw the cast net and get shad, and I got some really nice ones. And what I do, we got ready to left the house the next day. We get to the ramp, I left them in the back of the truck, and we went fishing without them. What do you?
It happens.
It does.
It happens. We went fishing yesterday. Here's an example of what happens. And I left my hat and my reading glasses in the truck.
Yeah.
And
I lost a pair of reading glasses, so today I purchased another pair.
There you go. I need to keep a pair in a boat, I think. I only got like
one pair in a boat, one pair in the truck, one pair out in the garage where I work, and one pair in here.
You can't tie knots if you can't see. So.
That's right. You can't see without them. You can't see with them. What the hell?
Yeah, I won't even stop to eat when I'm fishing for the most part, let alone drive all the way back to the truck.
You were talking about that before the show. You and I was visiting about that, and you said you don't eat while you're fishing.
No, not
Dude,
really.
I eat 24/7.
I don't.
Yeah, I got. Cindy takes me snacks. I got several cans of Vienna sausage, smoke flavored over here that I usually take with us. Really like them, and if you're really hard up, I guess you could use them for bait.
Yeah, I'd have to be pretty hard up. You could use them for bait. I don't know how good they'd stick on the hook, but
I don't either. It'd be having to go in because you run out of bait again. But we're going to be trying some different things this fall, and I'm excited. The weather's down to where it's in the 60s and 70s this week for highs, and I've been waiting. After that 100-degree stuff, man, I've been waiting for this. I really have.
I would too. I'd be like, it's enough of that. I'd take a trip up here and visit me, Lyle, if I was you in the dead of summer. You might have to do that. 922 says, we go ahead. My lake was covered in mayfly castings. I think that's why it's been rough getting on them. Bought some mayfly jigs and colors. Try to get on them. Hopefully that'll work for you.
Isn't it late for mayflies?
I think it is. Usually
around June or last part of June or July. For me, is when we get them. Man, that is seems like that's late. But hey, if that's what's working, it doesn't matter what time of year it is.
Yeah, no kidding. No, we kind of went over like what our confidence baits are. Let's go to confidence methods. For me, when it comes to panfish, it's a float. I don't know what to say. Put a bobber, put a split shot or a jig head on the bottom of that, and that's my way to know that something's happening.
Now, if I'm out here on the Niagara or something. We have a place called Big John's Access, which is not much of an access, but you can launch canoes and kayaks and stuff like that. No boats. I mean, there's not enough water there. But we catch a lot of bait there, a lot of bluegills and jigs. I cast jigs and catch a lot of fish there. And if they don't go fast enough, you can tip them with a piece of worm, and usually just have your way with them. You get hung up a lot because there's a lot of weeds and stuff, but that's what holds them bluegills in there. Is a structure, weeds and logs and big rocks. There's a lot of big rocks out there, and there's some pretty decent sucker in them. And to be quite honest, I love using those big suckers if I can catch enough of them.
They're fantastic channel cat.
Real greasy and smelly.
They're great for channel cat.
Yeah.
At a bait shop here back when I used to still go over there to buy bait, whether it be big live suckers. It went from buying big live suckers when I had that flathead fever real bad to he would freeze them for me if they died in his tank, and I would use those for channel cat bait. It would work fantastic. Cut little slices off of them, maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch thick, put them on like a 5/0 hook, and channel cats would light up with them suckers, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm with Frank he says panfish for him is a float or a drop shot, and I do love drop shots. They're just my success rate with a drop shot rig is way up there, and but I do like floating underneath a cork. I like a slip float. Works really well. Just put a bobber stop on it, a couple beads. I have very good success with that. So, like I say, your success level, if you'll think back, your success level will depend on the amount of confidence you have in what you're using, whether it be the rod, the reel, the bait. It doesn't seem to matter. If you think you're going to catch fish on it, you probably will. And if you have no confidence in it, chances are really good you're going to have a tough day.
You had mentioned slip floats, and I'm not a big slip float guy, and I know exactly why. I might have to change something up and give him another shot just to be fair. But I don't have any rods that I use for panfish or crappie, so to speak, where the bobber stop fits through the eyes easily. That's always getting caught up. It's always frustrating for me. Once they get wet, because I use the cloth ones, they slide up and down eventually because I'm using 4-pound test. So maybe I'll make some changes now that I'm starting to use more braid than anything, because I like to feel that they have that connection to that thump. Maybe I'll give them a shot and see if I can do that, and maybe get another rod that's got a little bigger eyes on it to get that bobber stop to come through when I'm casting a little easier.
I have actually been tying my own bobber stops with some heavier braid that I've got that are short on when I fill up my catfishing reels. Use some of the braid for that. They still seem to slip through the eyes on them really well. And I'd take a pair of pliers on each end and tighten that thing down on the line. But I'm using braid, and they hold better on braid than they do on monofilament. The slip knots do. So, that's something to keep in mind, or they do for me anyhow. Richard with Fishing Freedom, welcome to the show, buddy. Says my confidence crappie method is and always have been trolling for bluegill a float.
I was just going to bring that up. Like I had mentioned, I was fishing with Betty all weekend, and her confidence method, and I tried to get her to change, is trolling for crappie. That's what she likes to do. And I'm like, Betty, we're not doing any good because we were struggling there for a little while. That changed. I'm like, let's go fish some other spots. She calls it fish and drops. I'm thinking we're going to go fish, ledges. That's what we called it, but we figured it out. We fished some standing timber too in the corner over there, and that was pretty good. I pulled out a bobber, got a bobber out there, first cast, boom, got a crappie on there. It worked. We were casting to them. We were getting on a few, nothing great. The water temps where she's at are even warmer, so we probably could have got on them if we found some brush piles and stuff and did it. But what we did is she wanted to troll, so she was the host. She knew the lake, so we did a lot of trolling, and we did get on some fish. We used the track method on my Tarova, and that was we had a lot of fun, and we learned a lot, or I learned a lot. Learned how to lay down set tracks. We would scan, mark a bunch of waypoints, Lyle, and then once I found them, and I figured out I wanted to go, like 1,000 feet, I would connect the dots with my boat while I was recording, go back to the beginning, hit play, get our baits out. Wouldn't even have to do anything but look for traffic. So
That's awesome.
worked out
That's
great.
really
She was happy, but we were fishing her confidence way. So
there you go. Bugman says slip bobbers to get the big gillies 20 feet down in summer. And yeah, I have to think he's right about that deep. Frank says you soft rubber stops. I have a hard time getting them around here unless I go to Springfield and Bass Pro Shop. And my God, it has to be something special for me to go down there this time of year.
There's something called the internet. After the show, we'll get your credit card. We'll order you a couple gross.
No, we're not going to do that. What we got here? Trolling rules and Mark's rules.
How does Chad know when his trolling motor don't even work? He can't troll with that thing.
We need to find out what happened to that.
I'll have him tell you later.
Okay.
I just got to
can't wait to find out.
Make sure he admits it.
Areas that you fish. Do you have different areas you fish in the fall compared to summer and spring and winter?
So spring, I got 3 spots in the spring and in the fall, identical spots that I find a lot of my crappie at. That database is getting a database. That list of spots is growing because every year, like yesterday, I found 4 new brush piles I had no idea existed.
Oh, really?
Yep. Set waypoints on them. I got fish on each and every one of them. There was fish there. So I'm adding those to the spots. Those will be my early fall spots from now on. So
now, do you have damn, I lost my train of thought. I got to reading Frank's The Flatty Daddies. Look here. Talk about a guy's got some really good videos out lately. Doing shows on a pontoon boat with his wife and kids. They have been just amazing. You got to go check him out.
Corey's a man. He was one of the first people, one of the early ones that I've had on my show. Corey's a good dude. I've been seeing his videos popping up here and there. It's good to see him showing up again.
Great.
Thanks for the kind words, Corey. Appreciate you, man.
I'll look them up, Frank. I know they're there. I never have tried any, to be honest. I forgot what I was going to tell you about now. What size line am I using? I use anything from 2 pound to 10 pound braid. When I get down below 4 pound or lower, it's mono, but if above 4 pound, it'll be braid.
Yeah, I'm making the slow switch over. I always use 4 pound mono, whatever the diameter is, which happens to be like, I believe it's 10 pound Sufix.
Yeah.
32, which is what I'm slowly making the transition.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It's really, really good line. No stretch. I see no reason to have stretch and fishing line. that's what your drag and the action on your rod's for. You don't need the line to stretch.
Well, my bobber rods that I fish for bluegill with, I still keep mono on them. It just works good. Also, it doesn't hurt that I got like 8,000 yards of.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw any of it off just because it's not
exactly.
Great.
I got spools of that stuff. I buy it when it's on sale. I bought like 2,000 yards of that stuff last year for like $9, Lyle. How can you argue with that?
I tell you, Mark, a few years ago, before I started buying the great big spools of braid, I went into Bass Pro's outlet store one time, and they had Daiwa 80-pound braid in the 300-foot spools. And it was in a 12-foot John boat, rounded up. And I got all I could afford in one whack. And I got to thinking about it. I went back a few days later and got some more. And I filled up every rod I had with that stuff. And it was a great line. I don't know who made it for them. They didn't make it. Maybe Power Pro. I don't have any idea. And then I started buying in the commercial spools, 3,500 yard spools. And I've still got some of the last one that I got from my buddy Adam up at Tombstone Tackle in Columbia. But man, that 832 Sufix is heads and tails better than anything else. And guys that talk about braid not being resistant to snags and tearing and rocks and limbs, bull butter. I don't know what kind of coating it is they put on that stuff, but man, it is amazing.
No, I agree with you 100%. I hear them complaining about it, and I've when I used to use like Power Pro and Spider Wire when I first got
It's
into
not
chasing
resistant.
bigger fish. It's not. That could be the type of stuff. I mean, I haven't used like a J braid. I hear good things about J braid as well. That's Daiwa's
Never
line.
tried that.
That's Daiwa's line. A lot of tournament fishermen use that stuff. Mainly, bass fishermen. I know this isn't a bass show, but they do. They use it, but I don't need to try something else when I'm already using something that works.
That's right. Yeah. 922 says autocorrect POS. That's, oh man, I got you, buddy. Hey, Corey, you're very welcome. I do really enjoy your videos and watching your kids reel in and fish. You had your daughter out in the last one. First time I'd ever seen her in a video. Maybe I missed it sometime, but she's not quite the fisherman the boys are, but she reeled in some fish and had a good time. And the quality of those videos are just really good. So get a chance, go check out the Flighty Daddies. I promise you'll be impressed.
It definitely entertaining. And he gets on some fish. He travels a little ways from the house. I don't know how far he's got to travel with the kids and stuff in a pontoon boat, but when he's
having a good time,
when he's chasing them flatheads on the Susquehanna, he's doing really good. He's recently in the last year or so, or 2 years maybe, even he started chasing more blues and stuff. But
yeah, since he's in here, I would like to ask if he still has his regular boat or if he got rid of it to buy the pontoon, because I know he's been doing a lot of family stuff, and I do enjoy that. I love seeing the kids catch fish, but I just wonder if he kept the other boat.
Frank says he's used Power Pro since it came on the market. He's laughing.
I have too, and Frank, I sent my wife and my youngest son out one night late. I was working on fishing rods, and I used 10-pound Power Pro to make the pulls that I pull the thread through underneath on wraps. And that thing Mark's 40. He'll be 40 in January. And he was still home in high school when I sent her out to pick that up for me one night when I was needing some, because I wear thread out, or that Power Pro out pulling it underneath threads, and I buy new ones all the time. And I bought a new spool of the little small spools that lasted all them years of doing that, and I just got another one the other day to make pulls with. Oh, it's got a big crack in the back from all the rocks up here. I got you, man. I've been down that road.
Bugman says, that is what I got on your recommendations. I'm new to braid, but I know you can't break the 60-pounder stuff.
Oh, it's tough.
Real quick to go back now, if you're using a casting reel, I wouldn't go any lighter than 65-pound braid. Reason being is once you do, that line will pull back in on itself if you get onto a big fish.
That's right.
The diameter isn't there in braid. So you want to use at least 65-pound braid, which is what I use. I use the lightest braid I can get away with. So for many reasons, Bugman. So.
I love my 80. That's what I use most of the time. It casts well. It's limber. I just don't have any trouble with, so I change. You know what I mean?
Yep, and you got that big pallet full of it in your garage.
Sort of. Danny says, I catch a lot of grief from people using braid, but I've landed way more big fish than I've lost. Yeah, and that's it. 65-pound braid on skipjack rod. That might be a little overkill.
That's like using a whole bottle of dishwashing soap on your Jell-O mold, Jody.
Richard says, got me using Sufix 832. Got it on 3 spinning rods and 4 bumping rods. You'll love it on a bumping rod. I promise you. It's It's very sensitive stuff, Richard. That's true, Jody. You don't know what you're going to catch at the damn skipjacking. You really don't. That's 100%
When you're
correct.
going skipjack fishing, you're supposed to be catching skipjack. Anything else is a bonus. So if it breaks out,
That's a fact.
it doesn't hurt that much. Use appropriate gear, I guess.
Josh says that 50-pound casting Superpower breaks like 65 Power Pro. So I run the 50, have had for several years now. That's awesome to know. I have no experience with casting stuff, but here's a tip that a lot of people probably do know, and a lot of them don't know, that when if you're getting worried about your braid, just roll it backwards onto another reel, and the bottom end of that's never seen the light of day, and you will have brand new line, and the old stuff will be way down in there. It'll probably never see the light of day, and you can get the double use out of all your line. I'm not sure you can do that with mono.
You know, I do that, Lyle, but for confidence reasons. I know how to tie hi Stephanie. I know how to tie a mono to braid knot. I use an Albright knot. It's a pretty good knot. It's a strong knot. It works great. But in the back of my head saying, why tie that knot when you can fill that whole thing up with braid? And it's not like I'm wasting it. I just take from one reel onto the other and flip it back around when I think it needs to be done.
Yep,
so that's a confidence builder, man. And when you go to put that braid on your reel, whether it's a spinning or a casting, just use a little piece of electrical tape. It'll hold it in place. It'll keep it from spinning on the.
That's what I do. Black electrical tape. I used to use mono backing, and I quit doing that and went to the electrical tape and never looked back. Never had a bit of trouble with it. 922 says he does that with mono. I've never done it with mono. I figured that the memory in it would be too great. But if it's not, that way you get double use on mono too. Thank you, guys. I've been doing that for years, and like I say, expensive the braid is, you need to use it to the full advantage of what it's intended for.
And it lasts a long time. They say braid can last up to 3 years or something, and that's without flipping it. So you'll notice, let's say I use high vis braid, Lyle. I don't know if you do or not, but I use the high vis stuff because crappie and catfish, they just don't care.
No,
they really don't. And me, with my eyesight and stuff, say what you will, Chad. I know he's going to have something to say about this. I can see it a little better. I'm a line watcher kind of guy, so it does it there. Once it starts fading and the color will fade, that's when it tells me to start, thinking about switching it over. So,
Bugman, I've never used super glue, but tape is all I've ever used. I don't know how to use the super glue, but I'd be willing to give it a try once. Jody says she's caught blues, flats, channels, gars, stripers, white bass, walleye, large and smallmouth bass, which should be used for bait, crappie and drum while skipjacking. I thought she was catching bait.
She also says she's a good cook, Lyle. So are we going to believe her? She said she was driving. She didn't type all that while she was driving.
Maybe she's got talk to type.
Dan Thompson, what's going on, Dan? How you doing, bud? Channel member, how you doing, buddy?
Oh my! Oh, Jody. Yeah, remember, it wasn't me who was on you like that.
Yeah, Bugman says don't use super glue. He's making the corrections.
Oh, okay. Because I never heard of it.
I was going to say, yeah, that might not be a good one. I do use super glue on some plastics that I pre-rig every once. So I used to do it a lot more than I do now. Now I use hook keepers. I like them. Some people do, some people don't. I happen to be the ones that do it. That's another confident jig head, I guess, for me. I wouldn't even call it confidence. I would call it just stays in place without their pants getting pulled down. I don't like collared jigs. I really don't.
I don't either.
The lead collars, I'm not a fan. Either they got no collars on them, and I've done like Richard Gene, the fishing machine, and I've wrapped like 40-pound mono on there and put a dash of super glue. That's what reminded me of the super glue comment on each end of that, and that'll keep that plastic on there a little longer too.
I ordered for that reason. I ordered super glue online in either 3 or 5 pack deals, so I can keep it with me when I'm using plastics. Because let's face it, in between trips, a lot of times it'll get hard in the tube and it's useless. You have to throw it out and grab another tube. So I try to keep plenty of it on hand. But yeah, I really, she's going to send you some home baked brownies, Mark. But
you can send it to Chad's address in Kentucky, in care of Chadwick Fields.
But the super glue will keep them rubber baits, plastic baits, on that hook. If you don't have the hook keepers, the metal ones, I'm with you. I don't like them ones that are built into the lead heads. I don't like those at all. But now the others I do, and I need to order some heads like that or make some or something, because I think they would probably work a lot better. I just don't get along with the lead head hook keepers on, or bait keepers on them at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I've had too many plastics split, especially like if I get something from Limits Tackle or something. His plastics are a little on the stiffer side, so they'll actually kind of split or bulge out way too much, and I just don't care for that. So
Yeah, so just use a hook and the super glue, and you're good to go. And they'll stay on there a long time like that.
mm-hmm. They
Seems
sure
to me like, she's going to make her own recipe. I'm not saying nothing.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm trying to think what else gives me confidence when I'm pan fishing for the most part. So spots, baits, starting with my confidence, selection, and colors. That definitely does. Your gear. I got a couple of Stratics. Stratics are probably I'd say just as much as an Abu reel, but they last forever. I'm going on 6 years on my Stratics. I think I got 3 of them on all 3 of them, where I've had to replace some cheaper, big brand names still, multiple times since then. So you guys be the judge of that. I'm using that reel. I'm using the rods that I like, the ones you sent me, a couple of other brands. I'm not going to mention any names. If anybody wants any recommendations, message me. Be happy to give them to you, depending on what your needs are and stuff. But I those are the first ones I grab. Those are the ones I throw in the truck. I don't want them breaking on me. I don't want it to break on me. I want things to run smooth. I know what's rigged up on them because I use them so much. I know what the line's been through. So I use those old faithful pieces of gear many, many, many times over and over again, just because I know we've got history, which is what builds confidence, right, Lyle?
That's exactly right. And that reminds me back years ago, Doc Lang used to talk about he goes through his Abu Garcias every spring and oils them up, greases them up at the time, inspects them if they need anything at all. He replaces it right then, and he's ready for the year looking forward. Mm-hmm. And in those days, he was telling us that some of his reels that he's using was 25 years old. Well, I'm sure Doc's been gone from Catfish Weekly for 3 or 4 or 5 years, so they got to be up around 30 now. And I'm guessing he's still using the same reels. I would bet on it.
That reminds me, I got a couple old Abus I need to do. I'm bad at rebuilding them. What did Jody say? Read that to me, Lyle.
I'm confident you will want to stay near the bathroom when you eat those brownies.
That you're actually trying, that'll cause that.
Wow. Bookman says, I have not been bluegill fishing in 2 years after Dad's cancer. The week before the doc told us we went for a week. I got that. That's a wonderful thing, but you should still go back to it because it's so much fun. Fishing of Freedom. Richard says, I almost bought a Stratic 30 last week to put on my stash stick. Just couldn't do it. Bought a fluker instead. There's nothing wrong with flukers. I like
those stash sticks. That's Josh from Pig Patrol's TV new 6 cents rods. you know what? An expensive rod needs an expensive reel.
That's true.
That's all I'm going to say there, Richard.
Oh, you guys are too much. Frank says, I can't make some brownies, but you might want to sit down before you eat.
I wouldn't know what you're talking about, Frank. No idea whatsoever.
I've heard stories, but that's about as far as it goes. But yeah, confidence is a wonderful thing, and it goes hand in hand with fishing. And if you believe in something's going to work, it probably will. And if you don't think it will, it probably won't. Just because of your mindset, you're not going to put your all into it. And I believe that. Hey, Squirrel, welcome, buddy.
What's up, Dawson? There's a man who's confident in his electronics. That's for sure.
He sure is
figured out.
Another guy that has some great videos just come out recently. You need to go check out Fishing with the Squirrel on YouTube. Great information on really good with electronic stuff. What we at? 10 minutes?
Oh, we got plenty. We were going to make them wait a little longer before we
make sure we got plenty of time. What have you got planned up for the rest of the week, Mark?
I've got, today I got my work done early today. So I spent the rest of the afternoon out there processing some lead that my buddy Jerry Parker brought to me at Mendota. A couple other local guys dropped off some lead, so I processed like 40 pounds of lead. That was an experience for my first time, but it went pretty good. I went shopping and bought some more lead from that source that I got. So
you went shopping without me?
Well, yeah. My wife says we're not allowed to play retail anymor, Lyle. Sheila already put the smackdown on that.
That's too bad.
And then the rest of the week, I might be able to get out fishing again. We'll see. I got some truck stuff I got to do tomorrow. I got a brake light out, a third brake light. I got to go out and pick up some DEF, just stuff that needs to be done. That isn't hard or anything. It's just getting in the way of fishing. I got to run around and pick up bulbs and DEF and stuff like that. So
yeah. That you know, and like I say, this front moved through today, so it's going to be down to 60 tomorrow and Friday. So for high, which is that's strange for me this year. It's been so hot, but I'm ready to go catch some more bait and get ready for like I say, the front moved through today, so it's a couple days, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday. I'll be going out to do some more fishing. I'm looking for some eating size fish, whether it be bluegill or catfish. It doesn't seem to matter because we don't have anything other than the fish sticks that we make filet of fish sandwiches out of here at the house. Had a couple of them tonight. They was awesome. But I want either bluegill sandwiches or catfish sandwiches, and I got to go catch some fish. So
Hold on a minute. Didn't you just tell me that crappie filet o fish that I made earlier this week, it was a shame to you waste that crappie on some bread, and now you're going to make bluegill. Now you're going to make bluegill sandwiches, Lyle. Make up your mind.
I did tell you that.
You absolutely did. Hey, what the heck?
But I need some. We don't have any. I think we've ate all the fish that we had here at the house, and I just need to go, and I want to catch some. I want to catch eating size fish. If you catch a bigger one while you're catching eaters, it's okay. You don't have to keep them all. You can throw them back.
Yep.
We have lake restrictions on most of the lakes here, Lake Ozark, Truman, especially. 26 and under, you can keep 10. With 2 over 34, which I won't probably ever do that. I just don't want to do it. Nothing in the slot. From 26 to 34, you got to throw all them back. So they'll all be overs, in a year or two. And in the meantime, we could keep 10 apiece. Well, that's 20. I'm not going to ever clean 20 fish, Mark. I'm not doing it.
I don't care who you are. Eating 20 catfish is even a difficult for you, Lyle.
Yeah, it is, and I can put away some shrimp. So
Real quick, Corey at the Flatty Daddy says, my confidence lure is a white trout magnet with a silver head. I struggle to start with anything else, no matter the water. When that fails is when I finally branch out. Yep, that's monkey milk for me, man.
that's
No
how it
joke.
is. SK has made it into chat. Welcome, buddy.
SK, he's one that does. He's the one that uses it all. He'll go through. He goes through bait like a soldier goes through magazines, if you know what I mean, Lyle.
He does.
What's up, SK? He's been killing it with his guide service. Been seeing lots of pictures.
Hey, I'm so glad. I remember when he was working every day for a living, and now he's getting the guide and something I know that he enjoys doing. So congratulations on that. Makes for if you like what you do, you're probably going to be really successful at it. I worked on hot rod cars most of my life. I enjoyed doing it. I like to see them go fast, and that worked for me. There was a lot of slower cars, just average everyday cars that fell in line with that. But that's what I enjoyed doing, and you know, if I had the opportunity or thought that somebody actually would have paid me to take them fishing, I might have tried that 40 years ago. But you know, you didn't see any guides in those days in our area, anyhow. And I was too busy trying to raise a family. But yeah, if you like what you're doing, it's a confidence thing, Mark. It is.
100%. I like to eat and I'm good at it. That's how come I'm in the shape I'm in.
That's right.
No joke. I did see SK got his boat done. I don't know if he did it or he had it done. He got his boat buffed out. It looks really good. That gel coat looked nice and shiny. Looked pretty good. He did have some questions. Maybe you could answer this because I didn't know the answer to this. He's got a galvanized trailer and he was looking for something to wash his aluminum trailer, but it looked galvanized. You can't give that
soap and water with vinegar in it.
Right, but you can't give it an acid bath like you would normal aluminum, though, right?
No, if I was going to do something to it and I had the boat off, a lot of these places that do truck washes has a bath that they do aluminum tanks in, and that's where I would make
it. That is true. Working as a tankerman for the longest time, I should have thought about that. Nashville hot panfish sandwich does sound good, Frank.
Oh, it does. Oh man, yeah. It really does.
Oh, he says it's aluminum, just dirty. Okay, never mind. Use some of that acid stuff.
Absolutely. That's sure what I do. Well, Mark, we're at the end of the show. I got this load of.
All right, let me share a screen here.
Let's see if we can give them bad boys away.
Chrome tab. Let me see. Get it in here. Let's see. Share. I think that's the right one. Entire screen. There we go. We'll share this one. We'll do it that way if we can't get it out here. All right. We got all the members on the wheel. What's up, Robert Modlin? How you doing?
SK goes on tonight at 9 o'clock Central Time, right?
9 o'clock Central Time. I'm usually popped in there. I'll be watching while I'm doing stuff out in the garage tonight for sure. All right. So, Lyle, you let me know when to start her up, and I'll let her rip. And this is for the members only. You're giving away a box of jigs to them, and good luck to everybody.
Go ahead, buddy.
All right, let her rip. Here we go. I think I can do this in full screen too. There we go. Right on. Oh, wait. Who is that? Why did it stop right in between there?
I don't know, but it's dead in the middle. You can't have it. You can't have one like that.
I think it's because I went to the full screen. My bad. Okay, here we go. We're doing it one more time.
All right.
I was like, wait a minute. Something ain't right. Joe Buck, congratulations. Joe knows how to get in touch with you, does
he? Does. He's won a few times, so congratulations. Man, I hope you enjoy these. I handpicked the ones that I've been using, been working for me, and I hope they work for you. If they don't, I guess send them back and I'll trade you out something. You know what? But I think they will. Some of them are real small, some of them are real big, some of them are in between times. But these are actually the ones that I've been catching fish on throughout the end of summer and now into fall, and I think that you'll enjoy them very much.
Go Dogs, Joe Buck. Go Dogs.
Now, we're going to try this. We're not really having a lot of success for this, but we're going to do another month of this to see if we can gain on members, and we'll do a box of flies for the last week of October, unless like last week we forgot to give them away, and then it'll be the following week. But we're going to try to do it on time.
Hey, Lyle is also selling these on Facebook at Panfish Nation, jigs and flies, correct, Lyle?
That is correct.
If you guys want to get some jigs for somebody for Christmas, give him a shot. I'm sure he'll take good care of you. He'll make you some Christmas jigs, red and green all over the place. Maybe a little bit of gold tinsel in there, Lyle, right?
That's right. I think last year, if I remember correctly, we got rid of around 250 jigs through Christmas time. I believe that was right.
That's impressive.
One person got $100 worth of jigs. I don't know if they was using them, giving them away, using them for presents or what, but and another person got $50 worth for a couple of kids of theirs, and $50 was them big orders for the average guy that makes flies. So don't forget to get your orders in early. That way you have them on time. The way shipping is with all the companies, not just one in particular, but all the companies, the shipping is very slow right now. It won't get any better between now and Christmas, and it's sure not going to get any cheaper.
Nope, not one bit. Never gets any cheaper.
No, one of the prices we're seeing now, that's way higher than they should be on everything. We'll never see those cheaper prices come back. It's gone forever. And that's too bad. It really is. What a great show tonight, Mark. I appreciate you helping me out. We had a great show.
And I'm always confident when I come on screen that we're going to have a good time, Lyle.
We are going to have a good time.
And we're going to talk about food, too. That's for
There's
sure.
one last thing, Mark, before we talk about what's coming up. Good friend of mine, wife lost her grandmother this morning. Please have in your thoughts and prayers, keep those people in mind, because they're really good folks, and it's going to be a tough time for them. So we appreciate that. Chad and Freddie and Brian B. come on tomorrow night on the Bait Shop. I know there's other people. I just can't remember them all.
No, it's just them three jokers.
Okay.
At 7 o'clock standard time on the Fields to Water channel. Make sure you check them out. A lot of people go in there. It's a good time.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's fishing related, but it's BS more than anything. Monday night,
I think they're going to be talking about, before we go, there's the Ohio boys are going up against the Takedown Hog Leg crew on Saturday, October.
That should be some interesting content.
That should be interesting. I think J-Dog will even be on there and a bunch of other folks. It should be a lot of fun.
Monday night, 500th Monday night episode of Catfish Weekly. We'd appreciate it if you guys would jump in there and help us celebrate. It's going to be a fun time. We'll have a few giveaways and stuff. And then Mark's going to be back with the Catfish Crappie podcast. And who did you say your guest is going to be?
I didn't. We're going to hold on to that for a while. I need to get the thumbnail and stuff.
I got you.
I got a guest for Monday. It's going to be a good show. We're going to sit around, hang around, talk about fishing. Obviously, we'll go on after the celebration over on Catfish Weekly. So I look forward to that. So tune in to all our shows. We appreciate it. There's a bunch of shows during the week. There's always something to watch catfishing,
every night,
fishing related. Check them out if you don't already do it.
It is. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday night at 7.